Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 134 based on novel. So let's start. Black Dragon Mountain Island, within a luxurious palace, endless possibilities in his future. The silver-haired old man exclaimed, "This Luo Feng's future is very hard to predict, right?" That royal uncle also nodded his head. "Is there no way for us to get him into the sacred land?" Sitting in the center, the emperor asked softly. The two sector lords who sat beside him shook their heads, of which the silver-haired old man Bu Durasuka explained, "Your Majesty, stepping through the gateway of the origin laws at only star level, these sort of absolute geniuses aren't for our Black Dragon Mountain sacred land." The emperor was shocked. Unlike the Ganwu Universe Country's leader who had built the Universe Country over 1 trillion years ago and had been their one and only one leader, the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's emperor would always change after a period of time. Hence, there were many secrets that this emperor was clueless about. "Hasn't your Majesty already seen that in the entire Universe Country, there's only one Ganwu dojo, and it's forbidden for dojos of any other sort to open?" The silver-haired old man asked. "Ganwu Universe Country indeed respects the lowest of talents and absorbs them." The emperor nodded. "It's because of this that a genius like Luo Feng, even if we discover him, he'll still finally end up in the hands of the Ganwu Universe Country." The silver-haired old man shook his head, "And we can't even make any complaint about it. Of course, no matter what happens, he is still considered to have been from our Black Dragon Mountain star field. Whatever accomplishments he has in the future will still have benefits for our Black Dragon Mountain star field. Such a genius, it's better to be on good terms with. Be it 10,000 years or 100,000 years later, who knows what he'll become and what he'll have accomplished." The silver-haired old man emphasized, "I understand." The emperor nodded. Such talent, as long as he didn't die along the way, it was set in stone for him to become a sector lord. And these sorts of star levels who have stepped through the gateway of the origin laws, once they reach the sector lord level, they would be an absolute warrior amongst the others. The moment he breaks through to the undying level, that would be a step towards the heaven-shaking undying being. An undying being in the entire Black Dragon Mountain Empire currently, there were only two undying. One was the god leader of the Black Dragon Mountain Sacred Land, and the other was the god leader of the Ice Leviathan God Country. Hence the Black Dragon Mountain didn't dare easily offend any undying. In a vast god country, within the continuous mountain range, volcanoes were dispersed throughout this large continent, with some spitting fire occasionally. The entire god country was entirely dark red in color, and the smell of sulfur emanated throughout. At the peak of a tall mountain that reached the clouds, an ancient palace was built there. Its entire surface walls had complex engravings all over. Within the palace, in the throne, sat a red-eyed man dressed in a dark red long robe. Black flames were burning about his surroundings. His eyes seemed to be looking from another dimension altogether, giving off a terrifying heart-palpitating chill. Below him on both the right and left were 4 thrones. Currently there were 3 people sitting below him. All of them were giving off energy waves that shook the earth and skies, almost as though just lifting their hands could split the earth and heavens. "God leader, this punk called Luo Feng has some comprehension of the origin laws even though he's only at the star level. He's most suitable to become my disciple," said a warrior wrapped in golden armor. Emanating from his entire body was a heart-palpitating ripple, which was the gold origin laws ripple of energy. Compared to Luo Feng, this was 1 trillion times stronger. "Wo Te, my brother," the dark red-eyed man said with a hoarse voice softly, "I know that right now you are desperately searching for a disciple. However, we cannot fight with the Ganwu Universe Country, Wo Te." The other two looked at the golden-armored man. "My lifespan is reaching its end," the gold-armored man said calmly, "and the current disciples, even though they have talent, for them to actually succeed my techniques would be extremely difficult. I cannot change my demise. Hence, I only want to look for someone to pass my legacy on to before I die. I hope to be able to see the techniques that I have created over these hundreds of millions of years to once again be unleashed. Only then can I die in peace. This is my current greatest hope." The others were silent. Undying, they were indeed an eternal being. But that doesn't mean that an undying couldn't die. Like the Yunmo Planet Master or the many powerful undying in history, they still died. The life force of an undying was extremely strong. Even if their physical body was ripped into shreds, they could still regenerate. There were very few injuries that cannot be healed, like the Yunmo Planet Master who could only watch himself die. "Wo Te, my brother, I will do my best to help you find an exceptional disciple." The red-eyed man emphasized, "As for that punk Luo Feng, as long as he's not stupid, he will definitely choose the Ganwu universe country, maybe even the stronger and more powerful virtual universe company. Even after so many years, things haven't changed much at all. The pinnacle of geniuses also require them to make the best choices and to have the best environment to learn, before they can have the most outstanding achievements. In terms of power or environment, we indeed cannot compare to the Ganwu universe country. The golden armored man didn't make a sound. His proudest achievements over hundreds of millions of years was the techniques he had created. During the time he was alive, he treated these as though they were treasures and not even teaching it to his disciples or displaying it anywhere else. He would only teach his disciples very little of it. Now that he knew that his death was certain and imminent, his thinking had changed completely. He really wanted to watch a disciple complete his technique. If that was impossible, then he could only leave his techniques to his friends and brothers, allowing them to teach the disciple in his place. Just like the Yunmo planet master allowing Babata to teach in his place, God leader. The golden armored man stood up, Wo Te. The red-eyed man stood up too, the other two followed. I'm tired, I want to return to my home. The gold-armored man sighed, before I die, I want to take a good look at my home grounds. Finishing his words, he turned and flew out of the palace. As an undying, his relatives had long vanished over the course of time. After all, even a sector lord at most lived 10 million years. The other three were silent. Wo Te, my disciple, I will help you with your search. The red-eyed man communicated into the gold-armored man's mind a million li away. Within the palace, the three exchanged glances. It was fake, we were deceived, Kuan Shalo, that bastard. We will definitely find him and make him pay. Wo Te's death is because of him. He actually dared to sell us a fake secret area map. The red-eyed man's angry whisper turned into a roar, and the surrounding space trembled. Kuan Shalo is one of the subjects of the Ganwu universe country leader. It'll be hard for us to find a chance. Wait, even if I have to wait over 100 million years, 1 billion years, or even 10 billion years. As long as there's a chance. I, Menghua, will definitely personally kill him. He actually dared to use a fake secret area map and take away my money, also taking away the life of one of my brothers. Dead. I will definitely kill him. If he knows what's good for him, he will hide under the Ganwu universe country leader's protection for the rest of his life. The red-eyed man roared angrily. Black flames rose fiercely from the ground and the entire palace began to burn within and was reduced to nothing. His roar resounded throughout the vast trillion li in the God country. Black Dragon Mountain Island. Becoming famous after one battle. Luo Feng had really become famous through that one battle. This one battle not only shook the entire Black Dragon Mountain Empire, but also the entire Ganwu universe country. Daddy, everybody in the Black Dragon Mountain Island now knows how you look. The moment you go out, you'll be recognized very quickly. Little Hai clapped his hands and jumped around beside Luo Feng, as he was obviously very proud. I'll have to disguise myself next time I go out. Luo Feng rubbed his head. It's kind of weird though. Beside, Shushin stood up and poured some tea for Luo Feng. Smiling, after the elimination the last time, many organizations sent people over. After this arena war battle, however, your performance was definitely the most eye-catching. I thought even more organizations and powers will come. However, up till now, no one has come at all. It is kind of weird. Luo Feng nodded. Suddenly, ha ha, Luo Feng. A clear, carefree voice resounded. We were just saying no one came, and now someone has come. Shushin turned to look, speaking softly. It's people from the Three Axe Mountain organization. Luo Feng looked, indeed. There were three men walking over from the distance. In the middle was a kind-looking smiling old man with a head full of white. On the left was a man dressed in dark red battle robes and the one on the right was the tall and sturdy Mingyu. With experience from the Ganwu auction, he could easily deduce from looking that dark red battle-robed man was definitely a sector lord. And there was a thunder mark on his forehead. Obviously he was a sector lord recognized by the Thunder Origin laws, a sector lord that belonged to the pinnacle of other sector lords. As for that kind-looking old man, Luo Feng couldn't tell, but since he walked in the center, he estimated that the old man's position was the highest, Lord Mingyu. Luo Feng quickly stood up. Ha ha, I'm no lord here. Luo Feng, let me introduce you all. Mingyu smiled and pointed at the dark red battle-robed man. This is our Three Axe Mountains General Jiang Chen. Amongst the sector lords in the Black Dragon Mountain Starfield, is definitely at the peak. My respects, General. Luo Feng paid his respects. Jiang Chen nodded. This. Mingyu began introducing the white-haired old man, his voice changing slightly in tone. Is our Three Axe Mountains one of the three great founders, the head general? Luo Feng quickly bowed. However, his mind was in a flurry of emotions. Head general? Of the three great founders of the Three Axe Mountain, two of them were undying, and the final one had vanished. Which was this one? The old man slightly nodded. Where's Hong? Mingyu said, the head general wishes to see him. No problem, I'll look for him. Luo Feng nodded. Luo Feng, Thunder God, Mingyu and Jinang Chen all stood outside, while inside the house only the head general and Hong stayed. 30. Why has the head general come looking for Big Brother? Thunder God asked. No idea. Luo Feng shook his head. It's a good thing. Beside them Mingyu smiled. Let's hope he doesn't disappoint the head general. Besides him the sector lord Jiang Chen said coldly. Within the house there were only two people present, Hong and the head general Luo. What? Hong looked shocked at the old white-haired man before him. Head general, you. This legendary being spoke only a few words. But this had already given Hong a shock. Your talent is not bad, your character is also similar to myself back then. As for teaching you, even though I haven't become an undying, when it comes to the light origin laws and domain I am definitely sufficient and capable of becoming your teacher. The old man shook his head. However, there's one thing I have to warn you about. My lifespan is reaching its end. I only have about 20,000 more years to live. You only have about 20,000 years left in your lifespan? Hong was shocked. A sector lord's lifespan was very long, up to 10 million years. Yet before him, this legendary head general's was reaching its end. The old man shook his head and sighed. That voice was filled with endless bitterness. Hong, you and I really have an affinity. Your name is Hong, mine is Luo, both one syllable. You had your domain in the Star Traveler level. Me too, I do not fear death. I have taken the path of becoming the strongest and wanting to scale the pinnacle of life's greatest. Even in the Huge Axe Dojo I have won 1,000 continuous matches, acquiring the domain Lord Huge Axe Fighter title. The old man exclaimed, and later on, along with my good friends, two similar domain lords who acquired the Huge Axe Dojo fighter title, Mo Li Yue and Lai Mengtor, we founded the Three Axe Mountain organization together. Back then, I was the leader and the two assisted me. Later on they both became undying, yet I remained a sector lord. Ambition. If my plan had succeeded, the moment I became an undying, I would have become an absolute warrior amongst the undying. The old man's eyes gleamed. It burned an incomparably strong sense of longing. Even if I joined the Gunwu Universe country, I would have immediately become the ultimate undying at the peak under the country leader, an undying under the Gunwu Universe country leader. Hong was shocked. Within Black Dragon Mountain Starfield, do you know how many undying there are? The old man asked. 2. Hong replied. The God country leader of Ice Neptune and Sacred Land Black Dragon Mountain leader, both were undying. Luo Feng, Hong, and Thunder God all knew this. How many starfields are there in the Gunwu Universe country? The old man asked. Over 13,000. Hong was shocked. If every star field had 2 undyings, with all of them added together, that would be shocking. Ha. The old man laughed. The number of undying under the Gunwu country leader exceeds 10,000. And there are many more that belong to the Virtual Universe Company, Huge Axe Dojo, Universe First Bank, Universe Galaxy Bank and Universe Mercenary Alliance, these 5 great Leviathans, over 10,000? Hong held his breath. Don't be surprised. Why don't you take a look at just how vast a universe country is? The old man exclaimed. It may look like a lot, but it is the result of countless years of work. In terms of probability, for a sector lord to break through to the undying, the probability is simply too low. A sector lord's lifespan barely exceeds 10 million years. The number of sector lords in the Gunwu Universe country exceeds 1 million, with their lifespan ending every 10 million years. Although countless years had gone by, there are only so many undying. I've seen the light. We have to have our feet firmly planted on the ground. We cannot be over-ambitious. The old man exclaimed and shook his head. For a sector lord to break through to the undying, that alone is extremely difficult. I wasted millions of years. Wasn't it simply suicide? Who would have thought fate would be playing with me even when I've finally seen the light? Let's not talk about anything else. The old man looked at Hong and smiled. My affairs, I've told you most of it. Light and time, these 2 major origin laws, I can teach you and try my best to help you. The old man looked at Hong. I dare say, even amongst millions of sector lords within the Gunwu Universe country, even though I can't say I am the number 1, however I can definitely say without any doubt that I am in the top 3. Even against an undying, I have a certain guarantee of escaping alive. Hong looked with shock at the old man. I was considered a legend in the Gunwu Universe country. Even Undying had to show me respect. If you are willing to accept me as a teacher, then you must be prepared to roam around the endless universe. The old man emphasized, I've just left my isolation. With only 20,000 years or so of my lifespan left, I would like to see many places before I die. If you are willing to accept me as your teacher, then once you become my disciple, you naturally will have to follow me. At the same time, I will not give up on my training. In my final 20,000 years, I will still risk it all and fight to break through to become an Undying, even though the end of my lifespan is right before me. The old man looked at Hong, hence I could enter isolation at any time without any means to look after you. But, when that time does come, I will arrange for a bodyguard for you. The moment you accept me, you need to be prepared for all this. Hong creased his eyebrows. Roam around? For 20,000 years, right? The old man nodded. You don't have to rush to come up with an answer right away. Think carefully about your decision. I'll give you 10 days to ponder over it. You can answer me after 10 days. The old man finished his sentence and immediately began to head out. As one who's able to become an absolute warrior, these people all chased to reach the pinnacle of life itself. And along this path, many of them would create their own secret techniques that belonged to only them. These techniques were the result of all their blood and sweat. Especially in the face of death, these absolute warriors couldn't bear to watch their countless years of work creating these techniques to all go to waste without someone to inherit them. To find an outstanding disciple, this was the mindset of many facing death. 9-Star Bay Little District. Luo Feng and Thunder God watched as the old man, Jiang Qian Chen and Mingyu left. Big brother. Thunder God asked, what did that head general find you for? Luo Feng too looked at Hong. He wants to accept me as his disciple. Hong laughed, thinking about it, I'm considered a pioneer of the first generation on Earth. Yet, as someone else accepting me as a disciple, I can't help but say, the strong of the universe are indeed plenty, with many of them from other places and are much stronger than us. They do have the rights to be our teachers. I was actually prepared to accept him earlier, it didn't happen. Luo Feng was shocked, right? Hong nodded, if I do take him as my teacher, I will have to follow him and wander around. Leaving Earth, leaving the Black Dragon Mountain starfield and wandering the universe for 20,000 years, 20,000 years? Thunder God stared. I was hesitating whether or not to take him as my teacher. Hong creased his eyebrows. Actually, even if I wander the universe with him, I can still contact my family through the virtual universe network and meet you guys there as well. However, leaving Earth for 20,000 years, it still feels China's culture was only 5,000 years old. Hong has to wander about in the universe for 20,000 years. To Hong, who wasn't even 100 years old, this was indeed an extravagant number. Of course you have to take him as your teacher. The little virtual assistant on Luo Feng's shoulder, Barbata, raised his tiny hand and pointed at Hong. You idiot, that is Luo. The founder of the Three-Axe Mountain, Luo. The one people deem as the Time Sector Lord. Many Undying stay on good terms with him, and treat him on equal grounds. Many sector lords are willing to listen to his pointers. This is a truly respectable and big figure in the Black Dragon Mountain starfield. Time Sector Lord, Luo Feng and Thunder God were shocked by that name. Time Sector Lord, what a bombastic name. The virtual assistant on Thunder God's shoulder, Lord Wu, glared at Barbata. Only a spoiled wimpy brat will brag like that. That old man earlier dares to call himself the Time Sector Lord? You sick pervert who was locked in isolation for 10 million years, what do you know? Barbata pointed at Lord Wu. Luo is a top-notch figure of these 10 million years. During that time you were locked away in the world within a world, you don't know anything. You have no right at all to talk crap. You better listen to this demon lord here, you wimpy brat. Lord Wu roared, I've followed my owner for over 10 million years, I've lived longer than you. Barbata pointed at Lord Wu and roared. Luo Feng and Thunder God rubbed their heads. My God. These two living eyes. Every time they met, they would engage in a squabble. I will think well about it. Hong went silent. Listen to me, there's no wrong in it. Barbata repeated. The arrival of the legendary head General Luo from the Three-Axe Mountain had indeed led to Hong thinking. In the meantime, the groups in the arena wars engaged in their battles swiftly, very quickly. After 5 days' worth of time, the 1,000 groups had finished all their battles, with 90,000 being eliminated and only 10,000 left. These 10,000 had the chance to enter the name list with only 900 slots. After entering the name list, one could represent the Gunwu universe country and compete against the pinnacle of geniuses from the other universe countries. Once the arena wars had ended, the Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay once again received two guests, Luo Feng. A familiar voice resounded. Luo Feng turned to look. It was that old man with a head full of white, Bu Durasuka sector lord. This silver-haired old man was standing beside a pale and expressionless man with purple eyes. On his forehead this man had one more vertical eye. It was looking casually at Luo Feng. A formless force of energy transmitted over. Luo Feng grit his teeth. This person's aura was extremely strong, not bad. The purple-eyed man slightly nodded. Luo Feng, let me introduce you. This is a great undying being from the Ganwu universe country, the god leader Kuan Shalo. The silver-haired old man introduced. Luo Feng stared at the expressionless purple-eyed man before him whose aura was extremely powerful, and he felt extremely shocked by this aura. After so many years, he had never come face to face with an actual undying. Undying, that level of being, maybe in places like the Ganwu universe country, which is a high-level civilization, an undying still had to lower his head. However, in other empires, no one dared provoke an undying. An eternal being? One who could split the land and skies. He actually came to visit him. My respects, god leader. Luo Feng bowed respectfully. Kuan Shalo slightly nodded. Even though this Kuan Shalo was a man, he gave Luo Feng a feeling, a very peculiar feeling. His aura was peculiar. It was almost like an aura of an extremely gentle lady. Only that vertical eye would occasionally give off a bone-chilling, heart-palpitating feeling. Luo Feng, the reason for my arrival here is to give an order from the country leader. Kuan Shalo muttered. Luo Feng was shocked. Ganwu country leader, he personally sent me here. This should represent how much he values you. Kuan Shalo continued to mutter, this genius battle. After all, our Ganwu universe country will finally send out the top 1,000 strongest to compete in the pinnacle fights with the other universe countries. The entire universe's 1,008 human universe countries, 1,008 universe countries. The number of pinnacle geniuses representatives will only be a little more than 1 million. And the virtual universe company will finally absorb the top 1,000 among the winners. 1,008 universe countries will each send 1,000 geniuses, yet only the final 1,000 from all the participants will be absorbed. Kuan Shalo looked at Luo Feng. This means to say, on estimate, there's about only one spot from each universe country. Our universe country will send out 1,000 people, yet it's still not guaranteed that we will get a spot. Luo Feng nodded. The universe's top 1,000, that was extremely difficult to achieve. Even Barbata had said that Luo Feng had no hopes at all. Over 1,000 vast and huge universe countries, the final 1,000 will be absorbed. The conditions for the virtual universe company were extremely brutal and strict. Indeed, as one of the pinnacle leviathans of the universe humans, the virtual universe company who nurtures geniuses, they have the best conditions and overall facilities such as the primal universe, many secret areas, different types of treasures, the best teachers and so on. Kuan Shalo looked at Luo Feng. Alas, there will still only be 1,000 of them, who will actually get the right to have the virtual universe company spend countless amounts of resources to train them according to the country leader's order. If you can make it into the entire universe's top 1,000 and enter the virtual universe company, becoming one of their internal core member, that will be a good thing. Not only will it be beneficial for you, our Ganwu universe country will also receive huge rewards. However, if you fail, you can enter our Ganwu universe country instead. With your current talent, you have the qualifications to enter our secret land of our universe country, the Ganwu secret area. Kuan Shalo said, within the Ganwu secret area, you too will receive the best nurturing and training. Kuan Shalo glanced at Luo Feng. Little punk, to achieve the top 1,000 of the entire universe, I'd advise you to not get your hopes up. To be able to enter the universe country's Ganwu secret area is already countless people's dream. Finishing up, Kuan Shalo immediately vanished. Luo Feng, congratulations. The silver-haired old man said, right. Undyings, most of them are eccentric. Don't mind him too much. The silver-haired man laughed. I don't mind. Luo Feng smiled. Would I dare to actually receive an undying messenger? This states just how much the Ganwu country leader values your talent. The silver-haired old man smiled. From what I know, from this batch of geniuses, the ones that got the same notification to be able to enter the Ganwu secret area, only those who've stepped through the gateway of the origin laws. Luo Feng nodded. Very quickly, the silver-haired old man left too. Luo Feng quietly sat within his own house, pondering. 2 paths, one of them was to enter the Ganwu universe country core, the other one was to enter the core of the virtual universe company. On Luo Feng's shoulder, Barbata yawned and muttered, don't think about it, the virtual universe company, that sort of super leviathan, its wealth and resources will shock you. To be trained by them with countless amount of valuable resources, one would have to be at the level of elites of the entire universe, as their natural talents are absolute. to be trained and nurtured while receiving only the best resources. As long as they don't die along the way in the elimination stages, their achievements would all be amazing in the future. Die? Luo Feng was shocked. These are the absolute pinnacle of geniuses from the 1008 human universe countries. Will they die so easily? To nurture and produce the best process is death by elimination. Isn't that very normal? Barbata shook his head. No matter who it is, without experiencing the fear of life and death, how will one improve? And during these life or death experiences, how can one not get injured? Luo Feng couldn't help but nod his head. Don't think about it, people have different paths from you. Barbata shook his head. Koan Shalo said the right thing. The most realistic path is to enter the Ganwu Universe secret area. This Ganwu Universe country is also considered a huge power within the universe. The Ganwu country leader, that is an even bigger power, a super existence that can shape the entire universe. By entering the Ganwu secret area and receiving the best nurture, your achievements will be extremely high in the future. Barbata said, back then your teacher lost out as he was a lone wolf. If your teacher had a backing like the Ganwu country leader, that sort of existence, how would that bastard dare come kill your teacher? Ganwu country leader, is he much more powerful than my teacher? Luo Feng was shocked. You must be joking. That's an invincible being that not only created a universe country, but also one that commanded that universe country for 1 trillion years. Barbata said, of course, compared to the super leviathan such as the virtual universe country, there's no comparison at all. I heard the primal universe is something the virtual universe company owns internally. Whoever they wish to let in, they can do so without any problem. Luo Feng blinked a couple of times. Hence, Luo Feng, within this universe, there will always be someone stronger, a genius above others, a mountain higher than others. Even if you enter within the core of the virtual universe company, the competition will be incomparably intense. A genius battle that happens once every 10,000 years, yet absorbing only 1,000 absolute geniuses. Calculate yourself, after all these years, just how many geniuses will there be within that virtual universe company? Barbata asked. Hence, if you enter the virtual universe company, the number of strong people are like the clouds. If you are not strong enough, you will be trampled upon. Naturally, you cannot enter. Realistically speaking, you should just stay within the Ganwu secret area. Barbata said, the Ganwu secret area is already a sacred land that countless people will drool over just to hear about it. I am speaking so much because I want you to realize that entering Ganwu secret area is the best option for you. You are considered exceptional within that area. At the same time, don't get proud. Because in the virtual universe company there are 1 million people even more outstanding than you. Luo Feng blinked hard. This was a psychological blow for Luo Feng. This Barbata really knew how to knock a person down. Sitting in the chair, Luo Feng poured himself a cup of tea. As it flowed into the cup, a thought occurred to him. Barbata is right. My current strength is far from that of an absolute genius. If I want to make it into the universe top 1000, it is indeed hard. My skills, control of spirit weapon, battle experience, amplifier and mental state, these may all be not bad. However, compared to all the geniuses of the entire universe, it definitely ain't at the top. A few powerful warriors, like my teacher or that Luo, towards the later stages in life have all created their own secret techniques. Of course, no matter what I do, I have to do it step by step. I first have to learn the techniques created by others first before slowly creating my own. And the current me, I've just begun, in a group of sheep. Even if I become the strongest, I'd still only be a stronger sheep, and compared to a group of lions, even if I'm not the strongest, I'd still be an intrepid lion. To improve, I have to get into the core of the virtual universe company. I am weak, but the main reason is because my training time is too short. This genius battle stretches on for quite some time. I still have time to get stronger. Luo Feng pondered, his eyebrows creased. The Leviathan of the human universe, the virtual universe company's core, it only absorbs 1,000 geniuses every 10,000 years. After generations, there should be millions of geniuses within. And after countless years of toil, the number of undying within would far exceed that of the Ganwu universe country. Within there, that was where the true outstanding and pinnacle of strengths were. If I want to compete, I have to compete with the strongest. My training time is short. But as time goes on, I will be able to catch up to them. Hard work. Right now the first goal is to get into the 1,000 slots of the Ganwu universe country internal name list. Luo Feng made the decision without discussing more with Barbata. Growing up, Luo Feng had never admitted defeat before. Even against the incomparably powerful and seemingly invincible golden horned beast before, Luo Feng never stepped back. If it was said that his younger brother Luo Hua enjoyed the battle in the universe financial market, every time going in to compete and slaughter, earning and making fortunes. Then Luo Feng enjoyed chasing after the pinnacle of life itself, constantly breaking through and improving himself time and again, defeating the opponents one by one. Even with difficulty, setbacks, competition, and opponents, he had no fear. The only fear would be that of no difficulty at all. When that day finally arrives where he stands at the peak, without any opponents, he would fear the loneliness. The strong are lonely. On Earth, Luo Feng had tasted that feeling. He didn't like the feeling of loneliness. I'll push myself and give it a shot. We'll see just how far Luo Feng can push to. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. It was a light of anticipation of his path of the strong. The arena wars lasted for a total of 5 days. When it ended, the 10,000 participants that made it through had 1 day of rest, and within that 1 day, the organizing party, the Virtual Universe Company, also gave out information on the upcoming battles and informed every participant. China Time Year 2066, July 22nd, night. Virtual Universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island, 9-Star Bay District, Luo Feng's living room. Luo Feng, Hong, and Thunder God were gathered there with 10 other people. How are the arena fights going to be distributed? Brother-in-law, who are you fighting against in the first match? Only 900 slots, yet 10,000 people are competing. How do you even compete? A group of people were discussing. Quiet. Luo Feng pointed to mid-air. Immediately a screen appeared above the dining table. On it were a blur of words with descriptions. This is the list for the 10,000 participants of the arena fight. The words are too small. The whole family ran over to take a closer look. Enlarge it. Luo Feng pointed at the corner of the screen, and immediately a portion of the screen began to enlarge. There was Luo Feng's name there. Big brother, you are up against Sai Weiluo first. After winning that, you'll battle against the winner of the next group. Luo Hua examined it carefully. Right? Luo Feng nodded, looking at the people who surrounded him. Among them were his brother-in-law Xu Gang and others, even Hong and his children and families, Thunder God's daughter and his own family. With a large group of people together, it was indeed bustling, this arena battle. The process itself is very simple. 1v1, the winner will advance, while the loser will enter the loser's circle. These 10,000 people will be split into a total of 5,000 groups, of which after the first battle, there will be 5,000 winners and 5,000 losers. The 5,000 winners will continue to fight it out, and after the second battle, there will remain 2,500 winners. Moving on, after the third battle, there will remain 1,250 winners. After the fourth, there will only be 625 winners left. After the fourth battle, the 625 winners will immediately take up 625 slots of the name list. Luo Feng said. The rules were simple. 1v1, they only need to fight for battles. And there'll be 625 left. I say, my brother-in-law, within these 900 slots, after taking out the 625, wouldn't that only leave 275 slots? Xu Gang said curiously. Beside him Luo Hua laughed. Xu Gang, didn't you realize from what my brother said before, the losers enter a loser's circle? I estimate the remaining 275 slots will come from there. Thunder God laughed. Right, Luo Hua is smart. One has to know that the victor of a 1v1 battle is usually decided very quickly. However, there's a huge loophole, that is, there might very likely be two absolute warriors battling against each other, and one of them will end up getting eliminated. This loophole results in the company very easily eliminating a true genius, right? Luo Feng nodded, hence the loser's circle. From the 10,000 people, there will be 625 winners, and the loser's circle will have 9,375 people. These 9,375 will engage in a cruel and long competition, which will finally result in the final 275 being picking out. Luo Feng said, cruel and long competition, why cruel, long? How long? A group of people turned to Luo Feng. This competition is for the loser's circle of 9,375 people. Every person has to battle with the other 9,374 others in 1v1 matches. Meaning, the loser's circle, every 9,375 of them has to battle 9,374 times. Winning a match gains 1 point. Should both parties die together in a draw, that would mean 0 points. Finally, it will go by how high the points a person has. The top 275 will get into the final 275 slots. Luo Feng said, my God. Xu Gang stared wide-eyed. Wow. Little Hai exclaimed, 9,374 matches? When will this battle end, right? Just how much time is spent on this? With these over 9,000 matches, it will definitely take forever. A group of them all sighed. One must know that in life or death battles, to battle continuously, one's entire mental state, spirit and strength would be fatigued and focus would drop. Hence, even though each battle time was short, it was still impossible to hold multiple matches a day. What the Virtual Universe Company announced was that this competition itself will probably go on for close to 3 years, as each person will battle 10 matches a day. Luo Feng said, the entire Genius battle, from the initial world elimination battle of the Ganwu Universe country, the longest time-consuming item is this, close to 3 years, that's long. The arena fights were very quick. Every battle eliminated half of its people, requiring only 4 successive wins to get a slot. On a balcony in Luo Feng's villa in 9-Star Bay District, late night. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God sat by a round table. Third brother, your situation isn't looking good. Hong emphasized, among these 10,000 participants, there's a total of 521 who've stepped through the gateway of the origin laws, and from 4 matches they will pick the final 625. Theoretically speaking, these 521 should all get a slot. Thunder God muttered, however, I don't know just how this Virtual Universe Company distributed the teams. They actually let origin law geniuses meet each other? Right. Even though according to the footage of the arena wars before, they concluded that there was a total of 521 who've stepped through the origin laws gateway, if they distributed it properly, the Virtual Universe Company could have left these 521 not ever meet and get a slot. However, the Virtual Universe Company didn't do it that way. A large portion of these origin laws geniuses didn't have to ever meet in their 4 matches, but a small group of them, close to 100 of them, did have to meet each other. Like Luo Feng himself. According to the distribution, for his first, second and third battles, he had a certain guarantee to win. However, the 4th match, according to his list, as long as that origin law genius didn't lose along the way, then his 4th opponent would be another who had stepped through the gateway. His name was Rong Jun, his nickname was Savage. Savage Rong Jun. Back then he was the absolute warrior that killed his second brother Thunder God, a powerful being that massacred his Arena Wars group. According to this distribution, there'll be close to 100 origin law warriors who will meet in the 4th match. Hong nodded, and these close to 100 people were the top most intrepid performers of the Arena Wars. Whether it was Savage Rong Jun or Madman Luo Feng, they were the most powerful and massacred their Arena Wars group. They were just invincible. In terms of strength, this close to 100 people should belong to the upper echelon of the strong. Hong emphasized, right now the Virtual Universe Company is obviously wanting them to meet to test them out. After all, the loser still has a chance in the loser's circle. In the circle, there will be less than 50 origin law warriors, and there are 275 slots for the loser's circle. These origin law warriors, even if they lose their 4th match through the loser's circle, they can still get a slot. From the Virtual Universe Company's point of view, it's probably to test this group of geniuses, the most elite, meeting one another and engaging in 9,374 matches thereafter. This is probably one of the best training for these people. Hong said. Luo Feng and Thunder God both nodded. Makes sense. The Virtual Universe Company organized this to pick out the most pinnacle of geniuses. Hence making them fight against each other and picking out the most exceptional was a very normal circumstance. Third brother. Hong emphasized as he looked at Luo Feng, the 1st to 3rd battles, you shouldn't have any trouble. Right now your only opponent is the 4th match where you'll meet Savage Rong Jun. I've seen his strength personally, it's extremely terrifying, much stronger than your group's Pushkin. I've exchanged blows with him, he finished me in 1 shot. Thunder God said, he is very strong, especially his slice down from his blade, it feels extremely heavy, I know. Luo Feng nodded. If he wanted to get a slot in that name list early, he would have to defeat Savage. And from that Savage Arena War battle, he had watched as a spectator, it was indeed terrifying. Who asked you to perform so fearlessly? Thunder God laughed, it's because your performance was too strong and you killed the other geniuses like they were dogs. The Virtual Universe Company values you. Hence, they arranged Savage to battle you, letting the 2 strongest fight it out. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.